Okay, here's just a little video I wanted to make, a little tour of my garage. I was actually expecting a buddy of mine to show up today, and well, he was a no-show. So this is why the bikes are all with the covers off, and it's kind of a rare sight. So this is my garage. These are all my babies. I'll just try and keep it brief. I have a tendency to talk a little bit too much, but I'll just go through them one at a time. This is my 2016 FXDB Dyna Street Bob. This is a bike that, well, I mean, I don't do big mods on my bikes, but this is the one that's actually had the most done to it. I replaced the exhaust system. If I can get a good view of it here. This is actually the bike that appears in most of my videos. So if you ever check it out, you can hear it. It's a real beast. And this has the Harley-Davidson Twin Cam 103 engine, all stock. I also well, added a genuine Harley-Davidson oil cooler to it, something that these engines really need. And I also replaced the seat. It's a genuine Harley-Davidson aftermarket Springer seat. It's not really any more comfortable than the original. It's just it just looks better, and you know, gives it more of that traditional bobber look. Really love this bike. Let's see if I can get the picture a little smaller here. There we go. And well, I also put a Willie G Skull derby cover over the clutch, and I also installed that little leather swing arm bag. But otherwise the bike is pretty much stock, but it just looks so much cooler than how it did when it was you know, original. Although still pretty original, but just a few minor mods. And of course I do keep all my original parts. Not that I ever intend to sell it, but you know, just want to keep the original parts in case I ever have to. And that's it. That's for this baby. And right next to it, this is my 2017 Dyna Wide Glide. This bike, from the factory, it has that classic 70s chopper look to it. Really love this bike. I always dreamed about owning a Wide Glide. But then when I heard that it was going to be discontinued after 2017, I realized that this would be my last chance to actually own one brand new. So I actually got this in its last year of production in December of 2017, the last month of the last year. And I was lucky to find one brand new. And here we go. Very few mods. Just replaced the seat with a Lepera bare bones and passenger pillion for looks and comfort. And I just replaced the mufflers. These are Vance and Hines twin slash slip-ons. The original rest of the exhaust is original, and it really needed these mufflers. I mean, the original ones were so restrictive that it was actually blocking unburned gas and air. After I shut off the engine, sometimes it would make a loud pop, and that pretty much scared me. So I knew I had to replace the mufflers to clear out the flow. And since I did, it never did that ever again. So that was an important and very necessary upgrade. And like the Street Bob, by the way, I also added that Willie G Skull gas cap. I added it. See, I put it on this one as well. And here's another view of the Wide Glide. I love the flames on the gas tank. All original, by the way. And what also makes it really cool, it gives it that whole chopper vibe, is that it also has a 34-degree rake and a 21-inch front wheel. And you know, those are really classic chopper numbers. And handles really great. Really love the bike. And also where it gets the name Wide Glide, actually it's the spacing between the fork tubes. So when you look at it like this, you could see how skinny that front wheel is, that front tire rather is. and it sits between two really wide fork tubes, and that's where it gets the name Wide Glide. And it's a lot of fun. It also has the twin cam 103 engine. Really love the bike. And also right next to it, you can see I have a little thing for choppers, factory choppers. Is that this is a 2018. Interesting, eh? Here you have 16, 2016, 2017, and 2018. This is a 2018 Harley-Davidson Breakout. It's a member of the Softail family. In 2018, Harley-Davidson came out with the Milwaukee 8 engine, and well, actually, they came out with it in 2017 on the touring models, and they put it in the Softail line. They actually discontinued the Dyna line, which was the family of these two bikes, and they came out with the with the Softail line, the Milwaukee 8. Why is it called the Milwaukee 8? Well, the 8 stands for 8 valves. So this is a 2-cylinder engine with 4 valves per cylinder. Higher compression and better airflow equals a lot more power, and it's really powerful. This is the 114 cubic inch engine, translating to 1868 cc's. This bike also has the 34-degree rake in the forks, and it also has the 21-inch front wheel. The difference between the Breakout and the Wide Glide is, well, the Breakout has a fatter front tire. This one has a 130 front tire, whereas this one has, I believe it's a 90. Skinny little front tire, which actually I prefer, to be honest with you. I'm not a real big fan of big fat tires, but you know, on Harleys they always work. And also, this generation actually came from the factory with an oil cooler installed, so that also helps the engine to run cool. And this is actually an anniversary edition. It's 2018, actually marked the 115th anniversary of Harley being in continuous business, in continuous operation. And it was this is actually very limited run, really, as pertaining to the paint job, and it's actually numbered. So if you look closely over here on the gas tank, this is number 1407 out of 1900. So it makes it really exclusive. This bike is absolutely 100% original. I will not change a damn thing on it, not a single nut or bolt or anything. I absolutely love it the way it is. Harley-Davidson, in my opinion, really got it right. So that's the Breakout. And by the way, the Breakout also in this year actually comes with a smaller gas tank than the others. The other ones, the gas tanks are roughly 5 gallons. Sorry, 4.9, 5 gallons. This model actually has a 3.5 gallon gas tank, which is roughly a little over 13 liters. So the range is slightly reduced, but it's really not, it's really no biggie. I mean, it's still almost 300 kilometers range on this gas tank. And what I also like about it too is that it shows the engine better, you know, and that's really more sort of chopper-ish. And you know, if you love big engines and big mechanical things, you know, there's nothing sexier than a big engine and a big Harley, and it's right there in your face. So that's this baby. Also, check out that really cool tattoo style gas tank commemorating 115 years of continuous operation since 1903. And it has this really beautiful leather seat, actually, and also check out the blue stitching on the seat to go with it. Very, very exclusive bike. I was very, very lucky to find it. I actually found it used, by the way, and it only had about 3,000 kilometers, if you can believe it. It hadn't even been broken in when I got it. 100% original. And originality is really the main selling point for me. When a bike is all original and it has low mileage, it's something I absolutely have to have. So that's this one. These two, by the way, I got them brand new. So that's the Breakout. And over here, well, since I'm pointing at it, this is the Harley-Davidson XR 1200X Sportster. This is also 100% original, and I bought it used. The only upgrade, quote unquote, is that one of the previous owners installed a steering damper. I decided to leave it. It only adds, well, you know, it's a great safety feature, actually, to help prevent wobbling on hard acceleration or at high speed. And what I really love about this bike is that it's really made in the style of the flat track racers. It's a real shame that Harley-Davidson discontinued it. It was discontinued in 2012. This is a 2011 model. And there was a previous version. It was just the XR 1200. And the difference between the 1200 and the 1200X is that the X actually has an upgraded suspension, better performing suspension. Same 1200cc engine. 1200 cc's is roughly 74 cubic inches, but it is a higher revving engine, so you know, you can really push it. Really great bike, absolutely love it. And it's also a great wheelie monster too, if you ever, if I'm ever so inclined to do something stupid. So that's the XR 1200, XR 1200X, and right next to it I have my Fat Boy. This is a 2020 Fat Boy. And it also has the 114 cubic inch engine, the Milwaukee 8. And this actually is also an anniversary model, but this is a 30th anniversary model. And that 30th anniversary is actually referring to the 30 years that the Fat Boy has been in production. The Fat Boy first appeared on the market in 1990. And, you know, it's ever since Arnold rode it in Terminator 2, a lot of people, including myself, like to refer to it as my Terminator bike. So that's my Terminator bike. It's also all original. I will not remove anything that it came with from the factory. The only things I did add to it actually is this heel shifter, all genuine Harley-Davidson parts and accessories. A heel shifter, which is really cool because, well, the bike actually has floorboards, and well, when you gotta have floorboards, you know, a heel shifter goes really well with that. And I also just added a Harley-Davidson axle covers, you know, to cover the bare nut that was exposed there before, front and back. You can see it there also. And what really differentiates the anniversary model from the standard model is that, well, it's all blacked out. It's all blacked out, including the wheels, and it also has these really cool bronze highlights on the well, on the inscription on the derby cover, and also on the cylinder heads. And see, here's a really cool picture of the logo, and all original. I did add the Holdfast docking hardware, again all original Harley-Davidson parts, and I did add this luggage rack. I don't really like that luggage rack. I take it off. I only have it on the bike now because, well, the bike I put a cover over it, and it's just a way to help protect the fender in case something falls on it. You know, it's a little good. It's, you know, it's a good little thing to have. And oh, let me show you the gas tank. It does have an emblem to commemorate that it is an anniversary model. This is number 1611 out of 2500. So very limited edition model. Really awesome bike. Very lucky to have it. And I bought this one new, brand new. So out of the 5 that you've seen so far, 3 of them I bought new, and 2 of them I bought used. And in fact, these other bikes here I also bought used, and really love them very much. Well, before I get to this one, I want to show you this one, because this is really the queen of the garage. This is the queen, the ultimate queen. And this over here is my 2013 FXS Blackline. I really love this bike. It's got that great classic chopper vibe to it. It has, well, 34 degree rake and 21-inch front wheel. Skinny front tires, which I really, really love. They're very chopperish. See, look how skinny that thing is. You know, it's just a little bit bigger than a bicycle. Just kidding. And it's pretty much original. It did have a few things that I needed to change on it, like well, the air filter. By the way, I did replace the air filter also on the Street Bob over there, and with the same air filter that I put on this one, Vance & Hines VO2 open element air filter, and I did replace that. And these heat shields on the exhaust, originally they were chrome, and why they would do that, I have no idea. It just looked horrible. So I did replace them with genuine Harley-Davidson heat shields in black. And I also did replace the mufflers. Not the exhaust system, but just the mufflers. They're the Vance & Hines twin slash slip-ons, just like what I replaced on the Wide Glide. And also for the same reason, better flow. I don't replace mufflers really or exhaust systems to get more sound. It's really just for aesthetics and functionality and performance. And this also has the Lepera bare bones seat, which I really love, and passenger pillion. The look is good, but more importantly, it's much more comfortable. The original seat was very triangular and very sharp edged, and I really didn't like the original seat. It really cut into my thighs, and you know, I have these long skinny legs, and the corners really dug in, really hurt, and put my legs to sleep, which is really not a good thing when you're on a motorcycle. But I did, of course, keep all the original parts, anything I took off. I also did add the Willie G skull gas cap, and really, really love this bike. It's just so much fun to ride. It's so fast and light, and it feels almost overpowered for its weight. And it also has the Twin Cam 103 engine on it, in it. Really, really love it. I wouldn't really do anything else to it. I think it's perfect as it is. I did, actually, just a little note, I did replace the starter motor over the winter. It was a huge project, and it was very gratifying, but it was so incredible. I actually had to remove the oil tank, and to remove the oil tank, well, I had to remove basically everything. I had to remove the exhaust system, the entire exhaust system. I had to remove the rear wheel. I had to remove the rear fender. I had to remove the inner fender splash guard. I had to remove the electrical panel. I had to remove, of course, the seat, the battery, the battery caddy, to get to the oil tank, and then I had to remove the oil tank to get to the starter motor. And it's so deeply tucked in that, you know, you can't even see it from the outside by looking at it. So it was a really, really huge job, but I think a testament to a good shop practice. I didn't leave a single scratch on the bike anywhere. It looks as if it looked before I ever touched it, and I think that's a very important point. Good shop practices. And that's it. And that's this bike. Actually, let me just go around it a little bit if I can. Very tight walking area here. The garage is not made for lots of bikes. And okay, on this side, this is actually a toolbox, original Harley-Davidson part, and it actually has a snap-on toolkit with the Harley-Davidson logos on them. Made specifically for this generation of Softail. And see, here's another good view of it, of the engine and the toolbox. This is actually part of the older generation of the Softail as compared to the Fat Boy over here and the Breakout over there. They're the new generation of Softails. The difference really, well, it's everything. They have completely different frames and engines, and there aren't really even two parts or even one part that you can exchange between them and the older generation of Softails. These two are actually the older generation of Softails, and really what defines them is that they have the suspension components actually underneath the frame, whereas these new generation of Softails actually have the suspension, the shock actually under the seat. So it's much more easily accessible, and they also have external adjustment knobs over here to adjust, I guess, to your weight and level of comfort, and also you know, when you're taking a passenger. Whereas these bikes, well, adjusting the shocks on these is another huge job. It's a real pain, and most people basically never do it for the life of the bike. So that's my beautiful, sexy chopper, my FXS Blackline. This is a 2013, and right next to it, well, this is the queen of the garage. This is a 2014 CVO Breakout. This is actually the first generation of the Breakout, whereas the blue one is the second generation, as I explained before. And CVO actually stands for Custom Vehicle Operations. It's a department at Harley Davidson where they really put all their most premium parts on it, including this beautiful embossed leather seat. And it also has, at the time, the biggest engine that was available at the time. It's the 110 cubic inch twin cam, Screaming Eagle twin cam. And it also has these spectacular, gorgeous turbine wheels. And also it has a special paint job. This paint job is actually has a long name. It's called Hard Candy Sedona Sand and Blaze Orange with black phantom graphics. See, it says right there, Hard Candy Custom, and it is absolutely spectacular. The pictures, the videos cannot do it any justice whatsoever. And this bike is also all original. It has the original exhaust, of course, original handlebars, original exhaust, original foot pegs, very, very important. No engine mods. The only thing is that I did add just things that it should have come from the factory. It has these Screaming Eagle fat ignition wires, whereas the original were just tiny little flimsy black wires that you couldn't even see. And also, shame on Harley Davidson for not having included an oil cooler on it. So I did install a Harley Davidson genuine oil cooler. These twin cam engines really need it, by the way. I installed the oil cooler on the Street Bob. I installed the oil cooler on the Wide Glide and also on the Blackline. And these bikes really need it. Very sexy bike over here. It has the 21-inch front wheel, 34-degree rake. And what's also really cool about it, it comes with cruise control. Check out also these really cool braided lines. This is the hydraulic clutch, whereas all the other ones have a cable clutch. This has a hydraulic clutch with a really cool braided line, as well as a braided brake line on the other side. And I just love this paint job. It just absolutely blows my mind. And I was very, very lucky to find it all original at a very, very decent price and very low mileage. So previous owner, thankfully, didn't put much mileage on it. It's like he or she saved it just for me, and I'm very grateful to them, whoever they are. And I've had, let's see now, I've had this bike for a few years. Really, really love it. Here's the original exhaust system from front to back, or back to front, and just absolutely love it. And I can't really reach on the other side, but on the other side of this, there's a CVO emblem, Custom Vehicle Operations, in front of the air filter. What I have here on the air filter, this is just a rain sock. It helps, well, as its name implies, prevent rain from infiltrating it, as well as dirt and dust, and you can just leave it on all the time, you know, just help protect the engine, don't get any dirt or anything into it. and it doesn't really affect the performance. And that's really about it. Well, looking forward to getting this baby back on the road, hopefully sometime soon. And that's the tour of my garage. So this is just a cool view over here. This is my super sexy FXS blackline chopper up on the lift. Also looking forward to getting this baby back on the road. This is my beautiful super sexy CVO breakout. Let's walk around it a little bit more, because it's just that beautiful that it deserves that. And there we go. Just love the big fat tires. The tire on this bike is actually humongous. It's a 240 18 inch, whereas this one is really tiny. I believe this is a 140 18 inch. I do generally have a preference for skinny tires, but well, on these bikes it really works. Just another little view here of the CVO breakout. And here's the blackline. Yeah, there's the Terminator bike, the Fat Boy 2020 30th anniversary Fat Boy. All original. Maybe a little walk around. Just maybe try and show a little bit of the other side. It's a bit tough. It's very cramped here in the garage. Yeah, see with the really cool 114 logo on the air filter. The mechanics, when they did the setup for this bike, they actually did something very smart. They actually put the rain sock under the cover. So the rain sock is always here in place, protecting the element of the air filter, but at the same time it's exposing the cover over the air filter, and it shows off the 114 emblem. So it's a Fat Boy. Wow, I really do talk a lot, don't I? Here's another view of the XR 1200X Sportster. And it's curious, this is the bike, of all the bikes I have, this is the one that people ask me the most questions about. They never really saw a Harley Davidson sport bike. But you know, I've known the XR series all the way back in the 70s and the early 80s. I really fell in love with the XR 1000 way back when. And when I was looking to buy a Harley, this is actually what I was looking for. And lo and behold, here it is. And there's that. And then I guess one last view of this really cool 2018 114 cubic inch anniversary breakout. And then you have here the Wide Glide, the king of the choppers. And just a little word about these Dynas. Something, I guess, what people really love about them, and I can totally understand, is that they have this really old school mechanical feeling about them. I mean, they have this, you know, everything you expect about or imagine about a Harley Davidson. All the visceral sensations when you ride them, the way they shake, rattle, and roll, and but all in a good way. And just amazing bikes. And oh, by the way, I mean, these engines are rubber mounted, and the vibrations do go away once you start revving up the engine. Once you get underway, you know, roughly around maybe 2,000-3,000 RPM, the vibrations really tone down, so it's really not that bad. But you know, it is still a great visceral experience riding them. And just by the way, here's the oil cooler that I installed on the Street Bob, and here's the one on the Wide Glide. Same oil cooler, and I have the same oil cooler on the Blackline. And well, that's about it. No, I definitely talk too much, but I did promise some of my friends a little tour of my garage. I keep inviting my friends over, nobody ever wants to come over. And I understand, no problem. But these are my babies, And I hope when my buddies actually decide to show up one day that I can show them all in person. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video, and have a great afternoon, folks. Take care, bye.